What's up everyone, my name is Lil Exordium. Welcome back to another video. Today I just want to talk about some Destiny Beyond Light feedback that I have, or better yet, my review of Destiny Beyond Light for the first week. So I'm reviewing this about a week after, so this is right before the actual season starts with Season of the Hunt and the new activity. So this is just like pre-thoughts and things that I've noticed this entire week. So we're going to go into some positives, some negatives, and just my conclusion of the whole expansion so far. Let's get into the positives. So first off, Stasis is amazing. Stasis, like, the subclasses on all characters is phenomenal. Like, I've been playing the Hunter the most, and honestly, I do think the Hunters compared to the Warlock is like a little bit underpowered, but it's just like so fun to use Stasis. Like Stasis melee, Stasis grenade, Stasis the super, just everything about Stasis is awesome, especially the Stasis weapon. And for my next positive is the story was great. You know, I think they really hit it off with Aramis and how everything felt like it was very intuitive. And even though it wasn't that long, you know, we don't expect long campaigns for Destiny, but the post campaign has been also fun. So they had a good campaign as well as a good post campaign. So I think they also hit the nail on that. It's reminding me more of Taken King, which was an awesome DLC in Destiny 1. So that's also good. And next, the exotics are feeling awesome. You know, there's like 10 that they brought, and even though there's not a lot, there's like the exotics they brought are amazing. You know, we haven't even gotten a few of them yet, like the Cloud Strike or the Lament. The exotics are honestly so good. Like the No Time to Explain, amazing weapon so far. I love the No Time to Explain, as well as the Duality. Like those two weapons alone are really powerful. And of course, there are gonna be more. Like the exotic armor pieces also are good, like that one Warlock one and the Hunter exotic. They're all amazing. I love the exotics. And then let's be real, Europa is the best planet. Like, I have never seen this good of a planet in Destiny. I love the weather effects. I love how huge the planet is and how much secrets there are to it. They weren't lying about the secrets. There's quite a bit. Europa is one of the best planets. So you can already tell, like, the atmosphere around it, the visuals are just great. That's going to my next positive, which is the whole lighting of this DLC. It's like a dark themed, and I don't know what they did in terms of like engineering and just everything, but it looks phenomenal. I feel like the game was like night and day when literally night and day. But when comparing it to, like, you know, a week ago, the game looks so much different just in every single way. And I think, you know, the graphics got a, you know, not a huge overhaul, but an enhance, and that's great overall. I hope they do that every year. So that was also a big plus. And also, for the last point that I have for some positives, is definitely the balance changes. You know, they were much needed after Mountaintop ran the game pretty much. So I know it got sunsetted. I know we lost a lot of weapons, which I'll get into the negatives, but the balance changes were very needed. You know, hand cannon changes, some exotic changes, just overall the balance changes are great. So those are my positives, and now let's get into some negatives. All right guys, so my negatives for this is, let's just go straight into it. My first one is not enough weapons. We all know, we're all talking about, we're all tweeting about it, there's not enough weapons in the game. They sunsetted so many weapons, and they brought what, 30, 40. They didn't bring that many weapons, but this is before the season, so we gotta expect the raid weapons, we gotta expect the seasonal weapons, and I know Bungie's a plan. I know they're gonna bring out more weapons over time. It's not gonna be that big of a deal in, you know, a couple months time, but for right now it is a bit of a letdown. But I do think Bungie has it under control, and I think the weapons they did bring are amazing. So it does kind of suck, but there's a negative to that. And also, there's no vendor refresh in terms of weapons. Like, they all have the same weapons, the same. I know we got like one for strikes, one for Gambit, you know, the grenade launcher, but we didn't really get like a vendor refresh. We didn't, you know, that ties into the not enough weapons. So vendors definitely needed more of a refresh. Now we got those armor pieces for, you know, strikes, like for Zavala and for Shaxx, but I just don't think it was enough. I think they should have added at least a vendor refresh if they weren't gonna add tons of weapons. But my next negative is actually no catalyst to old weapons. Now, this is one of my biggest ones, because I was expecting, you know, we had that exotic catalyst like picture they showed, and it's even in the triumphs, but none of those weapons, the catalysts were brought. I was thinking be brought this season, so that means they can come next season or maybe mid-season. But the thing is, like, no weapons got catalysts except for the new weapons like Duality, and that kind of does suck. So hopefully they can bring those catalysts pretty soon. For my next negative is many bugs were brought into this, and I think it's because of the overhaul with the lighting that I mentioned, which was very good. But I do think it was a very rough launch. I know I couldn't get in for the first 3 hours into the game, but overall it's been a great experience playing it. But it did have a rough patch and a rough launch, and they've had to disable so many different things because of how many bugs there are. And next, there's just not enough content. I think they took away so much content, and I was expecting at least a little bit more, even maybe an extra strike, maybe some PvP maps. You know, they kind of neglected some areas of the game, and I don't think it's on purpose. I think they either have a plan or they just didn't have enough time and manpower to do it, which is, of course, you know, they're solo instead of having Activision to help them. So I just think, you know, it was the timing of everything. And I think, you know, it'll all come in time. Tons of content's going to come in the next few years, but it does kind of suck that we lost a lot and we didn't gain a lot. So that's a pretty big negative. For my last negative, I don't know, I don't see anyone talking about this, but where's the Catalyst Monument? You know how they brought exotic, this whole big legacy exotics that you can go buy, exotic cipher that you can get every week with Xur, and you can go get a new weapon that if you didn't have. But where's the old catalyst? Like, I don't have a Fourth Horseman catalyst, for example. I really want that, but I can't get it because there's no place to buy it, there's no place to earn it. But you can buy the exotic weapon. Some exotic weapons are not good without catalyst, so it's like you need to put 2 and 2. They should have had the catalyst with it. You know, either they should have been able to buy it with the gun already there, or they should have just made another vendor or kiosks where you can buy the catalyst from, you know. So I think that's a really big negative. But overall, I know I did, you know, quite a bit. I did about half negatives, half positives. And overall, this DLC has been amazing. Even with the negatives, this is the most fun I've had in Destiny in a very long time, and that's because of stasis. Stasis changed the entire game. A whole new element. I know they took a long time doing this, and it was very difficult, I bet, to, you know, make a whole new element to Destiny, and I do think that's probably part of the reason with the not enough weapons and the negatives. But it's just, stasis has blown my mind on how fun it is, and every subclass and every ability, and let's, a big positive that I didn't mention, which I'll mention for my conclusion and, you know, my overall thoughts, is that we're going to be able to customize our stasis subclass way more than we did with our light subclass, and the way we can add aspects and fragments is just insane. So I really think stasis hit it out of the park. If they didn't have this new element, this DLC would have crushed. Let's be real. This DLC, if they just brought them planet, you know, some weapons, this DLC would not be what it is. But I think it got a huge rating from me just because of that element and that subclass. Like, it really brought it together. And we haven't even experienced the raid or the seasonal activities, so I'm excited for all that. I think it's going to be a really good season for Destiny. I do hope some of these negatives turn into positives later down the line, which I think they will. But for right now, we just got to wait and see, which is kind of, you know, we did pay quite a bit of money to wait and see, but I think it's going to be a really good season for Destiny. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Anyways, stay gaming.